prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. So as your mind, that's your mind, your will and your emotions, as it prospers, you will be able to hang on to the revelation, and then when you get full of that, it will burst open and healing will start to manifest. And those things, some of you have been broken in areas, some of you have been hurt in areas, and so that hasn't been able to manifest. And there have been literally, I'm just going to say it, demon spirits that have said, well, you won't get that until you get to heaven. But that's been a lie.
It's a lie.
That's not saying that if you don't get that until we're going to win when we get to heaven no matter what. You're a winner. You're a winner when you get to heaven. But there are things that are robbing you here on this earth. And you have a destiny to fulfill.
Yes.
And the devil has robbed many of you from having that destiny here on earth because he's kept you on this lower level.
Yes.
He's actually kept you bound up in this soulish realm, and you've never been able to go to the third heavens where Jesus is, where he sits at the right hand of the Father. The right hand of the Father means authority. The right hand always of a throne means authority. And it says his name is high above all the names, and he is a ruler of all. And then it says in Ephesians chapter 2 that we are seated with him. Once we know him, we are seated with him together in heavenly places. And if we're seated together with him, what does that mean?
We're heirs, we're equals, we can do it.
And we are sons and daughters when we find Jesus and we have an inheritance. What does that mean? That means that we participate and can have acted the same thing that he did.
Yes.
But the religious system says we can't have that. That's a lie.
It's a lie.
And so but when Jesus was addressing unbelieving and perverted generation, he was talking about more of a corporate setting and a belief system that was over their region and over their area. He wasn't talking to the disciples, and he wasn't disgusted with saying, you little faith. Their faith was little because of all they'd ever seen around the region. That's all they'd ever known. They'd been under the scribes and the Pharisees. They'd been under that. And so, and some of you have tried to do that. You've stepped out and you've believed that very thing, but then you've been beat up. You've had the crap beat out of you by the religious system. And maybe nobody's ever said a word to you, but you feel this heavy weight over you and you can't burst out. You can't burst forth because it's weighing on you. It's a cloud of darkness that is weighing on you. And it's literally hindered you from entering into that place of freedom. So in that atmosphere, I gave in to persecution when I was younger. I gave in to sometimes. I would compromise. I would feel that persecution. The Lord called me out, and I didn't understand at the time why he was calling me out. He said, don't go to movies. Don't go to the dances. And every once in a while I would, and I'm not saying it's a sin to go to dances or movies, because I do it now. I do it now. I dance sometimes. And sometimes it's not, I'm not saying this in an unclean way, but sometimes I dance, and it might not be just a Christian song, but I recognize when there's a spirit on a song, and if it's not, sometimes it's a song that the Lord said it didn't have anything to say about Jesus that will set you free. It's just freedom.
Come on.
So I did that at the time because he was pulling me to set me apart, so that I would come into a secret place and find him in a radical thing for the call that was on my life, but I didn't quite understand at the time. All I knew is that if I don't obey this, I would feel like I was going to blow up on the inside of me. I felt like I was going to blow up. I would get so convicted, and it wasn't guilt. It wasn't guilt. It was something, a burning passion that I knew that I had to do.
That's good.
And so what did I do? What did I do to give him everything? I pulled out and I got separate sometimes. And it wasn't popular with my friends. A lot of my friends were very angry with me. They were very angry. Mostly the Christians. He said even the Christians, and I said mostly the Christians. The ones that some of them had even led me into that place to know him, but I sold out. Now, in those places, but then sometimes I would compromise because of the pressure got so heavy and the persecution, and I will say the pressure of rejection.
Teach it.
Because the rejection, I love people. I love my friends. I love people. I wanted them to just understand. But literally now, 20 years later, and it's been a few years ago, 20 years later, I have a handful of my friends that are coming back and saying, Julie, you planted those seeds, and now I wish that I had what you had, and how do I get it?
Come on.
Where do I go to get it? Because I want that. There's at least a good handful of my friends. 2 of them I wrote letters at that time, and 1 of them has come in. 2 of them I wrote letters, and they did not understand, but my heart was crying out because I saw the soon return of Jesus, and it is soon.
Yes.
It's sooner than you think. It's sooner than you think. He's coming very, 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 very soon. And in fact, this weekend I have been praying intensively, this last weekend, a week ago, for Israel, because it's so volatile right now. All those things are in place. for things to happen, for the Antichrist to set up. But the harvest, it says he thinks Jesus won't come, and those things, that manna for dish, he won't set up until the harvest comes in. We have to harvest. There's a harvest of people that are hungry, that want him.
Yes.
They want to know.
Yes.
They want to sell it. There is a corporate, a lot of people, it's going to bring a lot of power. A corporate surge this way that is going to bring so much strength that nobody even cares, even if they have to give their life for it.
Amen.
Because the manifestation of who he is in power, some of you have never seen power. Some of you have never seen him in power, but he is power.
Yes.
And you're getting ready to see him. The manifestation of power is coming, and when it does, it's going to break forth, and it's already starting now. It's going to break forth, and there's going to be so many people that want to do it. It's not going to be as hard as it used to be. Some of us had to go ahead and pave that road where it looked like it was impassable, where the Pharisees and the religious system tried to keep us and hinder us along the way. That it's affected sometimes our finances, hasn't it? We've been under attack many, many, many times. It affected even our relationship with the twisting of words and this twisting in the air. I'm like, what is that? It's affected that. But I'm telling you, okay.
I don't want to stop you. I just want to use this as an example. Coach Bailey asked us, this is the atmosphere. It's been the atmosphere in Lamar. If you don't like what the coach does, yell at him from the stands. And you know what? That's the way it is in a lot of places. And Coach Bailey asked if those of us who sit in the stands, because his wife sits up there. And he said, if you will help protect her when she sits in the stands. And you know what? We have a friend that's a chiropractor. A lot of you go to him over in Web City, Russ. He said that it used to be, he said you can always tell the new people at the beginning of the season who move into Web City, because if the coach does something they don't like it, they yell at him from the stands. And he said, and you know, it used to be the atmosphere where everybody agreed with that. Because it's real easy to agree with negative. But he said, now people will stop and look at the people and make them feel like such a sore thumb because they yelled at the coach. And I said, that's what we need to do here. When somebody starts yelling or starts bad-mouthing, we all just need to look and go, shh, no, we're not going there. Well, you know what, that atmosphere, that's the way it's been here. It's been, I mean, Julie, when Mike was a freshman on the basketball court, oh my gosh, I thought I was going to get in a fight as a preacher with somebody in the stands because they were yelling. I yelled my kid out there in the midst of that atmosphere. It was a horrible atmosphere.
Now we're learning not to yell at the refs.
And we don't yell at the refs, we help them.
We do help them. We don't even help them anymore.
We help them. I refereed basketball. I help them, but they didn't see stuff. Man, how many have felt called to be the referee's extension of their eyes? You see that? We have people called here. Jesus called us. But the reason I said that is because, do you know, the power you were talking about that is come, it's because people are getting it. People are getting it, and we're getting it so secure that swarm when we go around. And how many of you have started to pray for people or tell them revelation about their words or healing or something, and they look like they got gas all of a sudden. They went, they did that because they're like, and you could tell, and you were like, they didn't believe that. I don't think they like that. I don't think they. You just get that kind of words. You just hit that spirit that she talked about right there.
Yeah.
That's why the disciples they couldn't get the demon out because the cloud. And it made their faith go down. How many feel like you're just, even you're in somewhere and you yell, praise God, and everybody goes,
Who do you think you are?
yeah, that was kind of religious. You know what? We're not religious, we're radical.
That's right.
We love him. And we're about to change the atmosphere.
That's right.
We are. Those of you that get out and you're talking and saying, you know what? The atmosphere used to say, well, those people, they're a little weird and they're kind of cold. They just don't do it. But those people, that's about to be blown away, and it is being blown away because you guys have gotten so freaking radical that it's coming down. That atmosphere is getting blown away.
It has no choice.
Take your time.
No, I like it.